Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 353, the last day of March, March 31st, 2020. The high on this day was back in 1986 when we hit 82, and it was one below in 1969. And on this day, in 1985, 15 inches of snow. Ice went out on White Bear Lake on this day in 1938, and in 1968, I could find no ice out on this date for Lake Minnetonka.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Rookie on production, Chris Reavers, director of social media, John Hyde in the newsroom, and occasionally Kenny from the Krabby Coffee Shop. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
You want to know how we're going to be all right?
How are we going to be okay?
Because nothing's new. Everything's happened before, including, well, let Johnny Carson tell you from, what's this, about 1973 or 74.
December of 1973.
December of 1973 during his Tonight Show monologue.
Of all the shortages we have, there's a gasoline shortage. You know what else is disappearing from the supermarket shelves? Toilet paper. Ha, you can laugh now. There is an acute shortage of toilet paper in the good old United States. We got to quit writing on it. But I want to tell you, it is serious. I just saw a commercial where, I know it's coming, where Mrs. Olson comes in with a shopping bag, and the housewife says, forget the coffee, just give me the shopping bag. I want to tell you.
I should have done it myself. Kenny, will you do me a favor?
What?
Why did U.S. have toilet paper shortage in 1973?
I thought it was Johnny's fault. I really did. That's what I've been hearing all these years, that he made a joke about it. And he started a run on it. But let me look it up anyway.
I thought he was reflecting what must have been in the news. Also, I was alerted today, and I don't remember this. The emailer wanted to know if I remembered it. We had a Hong Kong flu in 1968 that killed hundreds of thousands of people, but I don't recall it. A Hong Kong flu of 1968.
I wasn't around. I don't remember that.
I know you weren't. I was barely around. I was just that far removed from the sod hut.
Boy, did you get some...
Well, I got some great emails.
You got some feedback, sir.
Out in Montana, Keith Olson writes, boys, drop some coins in the bucket. Chris asked why Grandma Such's family didn't build a log cabin. Prairies don't have trees.
Oh, darn it. You know, I didn't even think of that. Hold on.
I don't know if I'm going to go with that, because my people had trees, but they had no money. And they were fresh off the boat from Sweden, and they needed a place to get out of the weather right away.
And I believe that's how I phrased the question yesterday. Was it a financial thing, the sod hut versus a log cabin?
I think it was dear fellow descendant of the sod hut. Nothing else, just wanted you to know that you are not alone. 5 generations removed and a mile down the road. Kyle from Iowa. This one says, Joe, I'm sure you've gotten many emails. The reason sod huts were built on the prairies was no trees, so no lumber for homes. Sod was plentiful and easily used, much like ice used for igloos. Sod would not last long, especially in the rain. What wood was available was needed for heating and cooking. And Downing writes, why did Joe's ancestors have a sod house on the prairie instead of a log cabin? It was the prairie. There are no trees on the prairie. That's why people built sod houses out of necessity. Man, I went to public school, and I thought everyone knew that. If you visit the Minnesota History Center, you can see a replica sod house. And he sent me a copy of a photo. of a woman sitting in front of her sod house in western Minnesota in 1896. And she looks like the kind of woman whose picture we should feature in the Krabby Coffee Shop.
Got it.
It's bleak, isn't it?
It's just terrible. Just terrible. So she doesn't look happy.
No.
Did the sod hut vary depending upon what part of the country you resided?
I think the
You
one
know,
thing.
like in Texas, you can't have a basement.
Right.
Well, I did get an email from somebody who said, well, your people must have had it rough. We had a sod house.
From what I've heard, they all had one thing in common, and that was bed bugs.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I know. Cooties.
And worms everywhere.
I've got something on Carson from Snopes.
Yep.
Carson read a newspaper clipping about the shortage on the air. The day after Carson read the clipping and made a few jokes about it, the toilet paper shortage, what people didn't realize that the story had been about commercial toilet paper, and there was a surge of panic buying of consumer-grade toilet paper. This resulted in stores selling out of the toilet paper that they had on the shelves.
I'll be damned.
Imagine having that kind of power. Wow.
Yeah, you have to use it for good and not evil.
Now, I thought you were going to go with the line, Kenny. He had, a 10% stake in the Charmin industry.
Yeah, no. But he was not solely to blame. Harold Froelich, if that's how you pronounce it, a 41-year-old Republican congressman, put out a press release warning the public about a possible toilet paper shortage, saying the U.S. may face a serious shortage of toilet paper within a few months. We hope we don't have to ration toilet tissue.
We don't know why. What was other than Carson, there was no reason for that rush on the supplies. Say, I found a guy who I really admire for his self-quarantining. I mean, he's doing it in style.
Okay.
Thailand's King Maha Vajiralongkorn,
All right.
who has been vacationing in Germany this month, is now self-isolating in a luxury hotel with an entourage of 20 women and servants.
Oh, God.
The 67-year-old is said to have booked out the entire Grand Hotel Sonnenbrecher in the Alpine resort town of Garmisch-Partenkirchen after obtaining special permission from local officials, according to the Independent. Other hotels in the region have been closed to order during the outbreak, but not this guy. The king he got his 4 wives among the 20 concubines. Now I'm not okay. I can see this. This would be a fun quarantine.
That doesn't sound exhausting to you?
Well, you'd sleep well.
You sure?
A local official told Bild that the king's entourage was approved for their stay at the 4-star property because the guests are a single homogeneous group of people with no fluctuation. However, 119 people who had been traveling with the king in Germany, where he reportedly owns a second home, were already sent home to Thailand over suspicions of contracting the coronavirus. Back home, Thai residents appear to be unamused by the king's European exploits. A hashtag translating to "Why do we need a king?" has been attached to more than 1 million posts on Twitter. As of Tuesday, Thailand has 1,651 confirmed cases of coronavirus, with 10 deaths. Germany, where the king is weathering the breakdown, has 67,051 cases of coronavirus, according to Johns Hopkins. Why does Thailand need a king? Why do the people have to put up with this fruitcake?
So Thailand's king's a fruitcake.
Yep.
North Korea's guy, he's a fruitcake.
They're all fruitcakes. Let me tell you something.
What's the hiring process like to become a concubine? I mean, is there a message board? How does one go about that? You have to
Craigslist.
start as an intern.
Yeah, there's a picture of one of them here, kneeling at the king's feet.
Ah.
I wonder what that pays.
Who
And
cares?
are they hiring? And am I past my prime? Can I?
I think you're past your prime. Oh, this is just amazing. Among the gals is the royal noble consort. What a club he's in, huh? This goofball. Jeez Louise, isn't that something? Isn't that something? Let's talk about something that's not COVID.
Please.
It was in all the papers today. It's a New York Times piece. and I'm wrestling with it. The Trump administration is expected today to announce its final rule to roll back Obama-era automobile fuel efficiency standards, relaxing efforts to limit climate warming tailpipe pollution, and virtually undoing the government's biggest effort to combat climate change. The new rule, written by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Transportation, would allow vehicles on U.S. roads to emit nearly 1 billion tons more carbon dioxide over the lifetime of the cars than they would have under the Obama standards. And hundreds of millions of tons more will be emitted under standards being implemented in Europe and Asia. Let's stop right there. That makes no sense. Why suddenly will the cars emit 1 billion tons more carbon dioxide over the life of the cars? The cars are already being made with the fuel efficiencies in place.
Right. But evidently those fuel efficiencies are driving the cost of vehicles up. So I think one of his goals, at the very least, is to bring the price of cars down. Isn't that right?
Wait a minute. Say that again, Kenny. I didn't understand that part. So you're saying that added thing is making these vehicles more expensive? That's what you're
to produce.
Oh.
Well, automobile manufacturers could make that claim that in order to meet these standards, it's going to be more costly. But that I had a larger point I wanted to make. Let's see if we can get to it. Trump administration officials have raced to complete the auto rule by this spring, even as the White House is consumed with responding to the coronavirus crisis. President Trump is expected to extol the rule, which will stand as one of the most consequential regulatory rollbacks of his administration, as a needed salve for an economy crippled by the pandemic. Well, let me stop right there. Would car prices? I'm stuttering. Would car prices instantly be brought down? I think not.
Well, that's
what would this have to do with an economic salve?
Is it maybe because I know that over the weekend I was watching. There was a number of different car commercials, and I know we have one that advertises on the show that were showing rates, and because I think they're just trying to get people to come out and buy. Is that part of this?
No, this was all. This was all started before the COVID crisis kicked in.
The lower fuel efficiency standard is the single most important thing that the administration can do to fulfill President Trump's campaign promise of reforming the regulatory state and to undo the impact that the previous administration has had on the economy, said Thomas Pyle, president of the Institute for Energy Research, which supports the use of fossil fuels. Trump's critics say the rule shows the president's disregard for science and could harm the economy over time. The administration's own draft economic analysis of the rule showed it could hurt consumers by forcing them to purchase more gasoline. And a February report by a panel of government-appointed scientists, many of them selected by the Trump administration, concluded there are significant weaknesses in the scientific analysis of the rule. This is not just an inopportune moment to finalize a major rulemaking, said Senator Thomas Carper of Delaware, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Environmental Committee. In this case, it's a completely irresponsible one. Here's the part I love, even many large automakers, which had asked Trump to slightly loosen the Obama-era rule, had urged him not to roll it back so aggressively, because that plan is certain to get bogged down in courts for years, leaving their industry in regulatory limbo. I have a number of observations about this story. One, it was written by the New York Times, and generally speaking, a story like this would fit in their template as an attack on those who would attempt to save the earth, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think it's unnecessary that they're doing this. What's wrong with a fuel-efficient car? I'm not worried about saving the earth. I think the earth's on its own, and we have very little to do with it. But it makes nothing but common sense for an automobile manufacturer to make the most fuel-efficient automobile possible. And they already are doing that. So to the point where the automakers are saying, hey, don't do us a big favor here, because all that's going to happen is we'll get sued 58,000 times, and we won't know what to do.
Right. And it sounds like that's what they're planning for, because you know California, along with a handful of other states, are going to take this to court. And then the one thing I saw, the paragraph that struck me, the worst case scenario for automakers would be different standards in different states.
Right.
And that'd be awful.
Right.
For the automakers. This would also, of course, end up with us buying more gas, for obvious reasons. They're less fuel efficient.
Well, the world is so divided that people are hearing this and they're saying, well, if it was an Obama era rule, it should be stricken from the books. And the Trump side of the country is saying it's about time Trump struck down an Obama era rule. Couldn't it be possible that despite who brings about the regulation, that it ended up being wise?
You know the answer to that.
The answer is yes. No, the answer is yes.
I think it's because we're so divided right now that no matter what is either approached, approved, what have you, it's always going to be met with criticism because that's just the state of the world we live in 2020.
No one has been impacted for 5 seconds by an Obama-era administration or EPA, EPA started by Richard Nixon, by the way, a Republican. No one has had their life impacted for 5 seconds by the Obama administration telling the automobile manufacturers to get more fuel efficient. We've just accepted it and taken it for granted, and the engineers in Detroit and elsewhere around the world got way ahead of the curve, and suddenly you have an improvement in automobile efficiency. I'm comfortable with that. I don't see this as a reason to take to the political mattress and go to war. I just don't see it.
Yeah, efficiency does efficiency, as the efficiency goes up, does the performance go down?
Not one single American for 5 seconds could legitimately tell me they've noticed a difference in the performance of their vehicle.
The only place I've noticed it is with motorcycles. And when we buy a new motorcycle, a lot of this off-road motorcycles, the first thing we have to do, and it's probably not even a word, but it's what we say, is we have to de-California it.
Right.
We have to take off all these ridiculous California mods, which open it up. They let it more gas, more air. It breathes better. Might get a little louder, but it's way more powerful with more bottom end.
Right.
And that's really all I know about it.
I don't want this to open up a rash of emails. Why don't you think, before you take to your emails and rip me, why do you think about this logically? Not one single human being on Earth can claim that the demand for more fuel-efficient vehicles has had an impact on their life. Not one. Unless you do a cost analysis and somebody could point out to me, well, on a per capita basis, a car in 1982 cost considerably less than a car in 2020 or whatever. That's fine. But all I'm suggesting is even the automakers are saying, we're fine. We're cool with this. We're making it happen. Don't do us any extraordinary favors. It'll end up screwing us up.
Well, wait a minute, though. What about, didn't we have a story, I think it was back in September last year, of the Tesla that ran out of power, the police chase? Remember that story?
Oh, yeah, the electric cop
So
car.
there you go. There's someone who got affected.
Yeah, because they weren't even driving a gasoline car. They're driving a electric car.
And it was a cop, right?
Yeah, it was a cop.
A
fuel-efficient Tesla. They ran out of power.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You go to Schmelz Countryside right now in Maplewood.
Here we go.
That's all fuel efficiency. What did they think? The Volkswagen's going to say, "Oh, great! Now we can detune our cars and make them worse." You think Alfa Romeo's going to say that? Fiat? Of course not. They're in business to be competitive and competent. And they're we're dealing with the stay-at-home orders in the state, and so is Schmelz Countryside in Maplewood. So they have updated hours of operation Monday through Friday. 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and on-site sales are appointment only. So ultimately, there's no browsing the sales floor. You got to make an appointment. That's good, and it's safe for everybody. 651-243-4316. What you do is go to one of the three websites, schmelzvw.com, schmelzalfaromeo.com, schmelzfiat.com. Center in on what you're interested in. Make an appointment. Really, really the way to do it. On-floor employees are working half shifts to limit exposure. They're cleaning and disinfecting throughout the day and in between shifts, and they're going to take care of their customers. They have for more than 50, 60 years. It's a multi-generational dealer. Schmelz does not own 15 dealerships. They own Schmelz, Countryside, Volkswagen, Fiat, and Alfa Romeo on the southeast quadrant. There you go, Kenny. I had to throw quadrant in there.
Thank you.
Southeast quadrant of Highway 61 and 36 in Maplewood. Call ahead. How about that? It's like probably in the days when women got to go to Frank Murphy's exclusive clothing store and have their own personal attendant tell them what kind of dress would look good on them. Huh? You just go to Schmelz, now you have a personal appointment.
Kind of sounds like a good job for me.
Yeah. 651-243-4316.
You look good.
Yeah, you look good at that.
I like the way that hangs.
Or when
Yeah,
I come
I
in
do
and I
too.
try on a suit and you'd say, hey, fatty.
Yeah, hit the road, pal.
Yeah.
It's a ladies only shop.
See you in a moment, GLers.
Hello again, this is Mike Fratelloni from Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores. Fratelloni's is open every day till 6 p.m., 7 days a week. Please come on in. We are practicing ultra, no-touch, social distance customer service. You're going to come in and we're going to say, hey, what can we help you find from 10 feet away? We're not going to touch you. You're not going to touch us. We're constantly cleaning our stores. We're really trying to be as safe for our employees and as safe for our customers as we possibly can. So be aware that our customer service is going to be a little different. Stop on at Fratelloni's right now. Come on in. Social distance customer service, Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores.
You'll learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Here's Joe Souchere.
Kenny Olson,
What?
who would you like to tell us about today?
Oh, am I going to do it here?
Why not?
Okay. Actually, I'm into that because there were two items in today's Star Tribune Metro section about businesses that are tagged essential. One of them, headline Wheels of Commerce and Exercise Keep Going. Bike commuters applaud designation of bike shops as essential businesses. Nice, big, feel-good article. And then buried in the middle of the Metro section, gun shops tagged essential businesses. And it's essentially a tiny little paragraph ripping Trump and ripping everybody else because gun shops have been tagged as essential and they're staying open. Well, if you're from Garage Logic, this is good news. It's very good news, and it's good news for our guys up at dkmags.com. They're still open Monday through Saturday. They're selling firearms, ammunition, and accessories like crazy, but they're taking steps. They're limiting the amount of customers in the store just to a few at a time, and of course, everything in the building constantly being wiped down and sanitized to make sure we're all healthy. Everyone on the staff so far healthy and happy, and the business obviously open and business is booming. If you're locked down in your home right now, check out the website, dkmags.com, because it's got a ton of info and firearms. And don't forget, DK Mags is also very proud to offer our military veterans and law enforcement officers another 5% discount on most items. And yes, that does include firearms. And while you're thinking about dkmags.com, keep in mind they also have another spot up in Monticello Pawn and Gun. We're very proud to call them GL family members, dkmags.com.
The mind of the Mysterian politician is amazing to behold. Let's go to Houston. You could make the argument that that's closest to the country's tallest buildings.
Yes, definitely.
Houston's Democratic mayor, what's his name? Sylvester Turner. Houston's Democratic mayor announced to the crooks and the criminals that they need to chill and wait until the coronavirus pandemic is over
Oh, come on.
to commit crimes.
Wait.
I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wish I was. Mayor Sylvester Turner made the plea to criminals during a media briefing on the coronavirus response in Houston on Monday. Let me just make my plea. Until the coronavirus is solved, criminals take a break. Okay, said Turner. Stay home, okay? Stay home and don't commit any crimes. And that way, you'll stay safe and out of jail, and police officers can stay safe and go home, okay? So everybody chill. crooks, criminals, you chill. Wait until the coronavirus is over, okay? Then we'll all be okay.
You could go back to your nefarious activities.
Yeah. Turner's suggestion to the criminals of Houston drew sharp criticism.
I bet.
On social media. The Houston Health Department, incidentally, reported the city has 309 confirmed cases of coronavirus. Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo also spoke at the briefing and indicated that the violent crime rate had dropped in the city, except, unfortunately, for domestic violence cases. Yeah, that's going to be a shame, isn't it? That domestic violence will probably spike.
It has been. The calls have increased, and you can still leave your home to get away from domestic violence, and it's kind of upsetting, yeah.
So basically, he just asked everyone to pause.
Check this out. You mean to tell me...
Could you criminals just pause?
Could you pause
Wow.
until you resume your criminal activity when we get the coronavirus taken care of?
The problem
That's
is,
what he's saying.
Yeah, heroin habits, crack habits, they don't pause.
No.
They still need the crack, and they still need to pay for it.
And some of those people lost their income when they lost their job.
Right.
Yep.
But the mindset of the Mysterian is so amazing. He anticipates crime. He doesn't say you should be ashamed of yourselves for committing crimes. He's saying, well, you're a criminal, but you got to take a break from it for a while. You got to give us a break, and then resume it.
You know what though? I wish this shocked me. It doesn't at all.
Doesn't shock me either.
No.
You're finding as we go around the country, you're finding more and more leftist district attorneys, for example, decriminalizing things that should shock us. You know, where is it, Boston? You can burglarize a home if nobody's in it?
And it's a certain amount, right? They won't prosecute.
What the hell? It's a damn good thing gun shops remain open.
Yeah. And I was going to mention there was a piece early, maybe it was yesterday or over the weekend, about how the spike in applications to carry and purchase has skyrocketed. And it's a lot of people that are now out shopping for firearms are the very people that used to be against firearms.
Really?
Yeah. So
I know some personally.
Yeah,
I know some personally.
That's a really an interesting twist. Really interesting.
Where do we stand, by the way, on us releasing minor offenders and things like that? We haven't really discussed that on the show, have we?
I don't know. What kind of offenses are we talking about?
Well, that's what I don't. They haven't really specified. That's why I was going to ask you guys.
Because there's already a lot of felons walking around free that should have been locked up a long time ago.
Well, if somebody's in the slammer for an ounce of dope, I guess it's not going to break my heart to let him out. I don't know.
I guess anything, from what I understand, anything under an ounce is just a misdemeanor. You get a ticket for it and
I
sent
would hope
on
so.
your way.
Yeah, well, what the hell? You're legalizing it, for God's sakes. Yeah. Why get a guy with a couple of seeds in his pocket? You know, not that I would know anything about that. You know.
You keeping your ashtray clean, Joe?
Just empty those pockets. That's all you got to do. Turn them inside out. Turn them inside out. We had the neighborhood gathering yesterday.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I saw the tweet, and I was wondering, were you a little lit up when you sent that tweet?
Nope.
Okay, because I noticed some missing punctuation.
Well, I missed a word,
which
but
is very.
I could do that this morning.
But that's very unlike you.
Yeah, I know. I'm very careful. But we all stood about 15 feet apart.
I was going to say, how'd that work out?
Well, it was just an effort for the neighbors to say hi to each other and how you doing. And I said, well, you know, I think I'm the patriarch here, and I would anticipate that you will all be checking on me. And in the event of a big snow, I would think that you should come over and take care of my driveway. And,
that's nice of you.
Yeah, and they all said no.
No, we're all right.
And I can guess how the meeting broke up. It was Joe saying, I got to go. I'm out of here.
That's what I did.
Yeah, your sign off from Sports Talk yesterday got some people laughing.
Well, I had to meet a guy.
You had to go.
I had a thing.
You had to go.
And you weren't kidding, man. The machine went off, the headphones were down, and you were out of there.
Well, how long did you guys keep going?
Oh, Royce did another 20, 30 minutes or so.
Let me tell you another time that he took off on me.
Yeah.
No, we were done about 2 minutes after you were, after we heard the click.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been the Joe I've known my whole life. That's how Joe leaves. All right, I got to go. See you.
I'll see you.
I got to write today.
Yeah, bye. Well, again, that's why I'm so good at social distancing. It's just not a problem for me. No, just not.
No.
You know, in Minnesota, we're not under house arrest. There's Chicago. They're threatening to arrest you if you go outside. We can go for a walk.
You ought to take one of those little sports cars out today and just drive the Parkway, St. Paul up to Franklin, go over to Minneapolis and back down to Ford. You will not believe how many people are out walking, biking, and boarding. I mean, it's crowded. It's like Sunday afternoon crowded.
Well, here's the great irony. It's crowded to the point where the bicyclists and the pedestrians are feuding.
Oh, are they at war?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are too many of each party, and they're feuding about their territorial rights.
Oh, and you know what? Which proves you right, because you said earlier in the week or last weekend you're seeing a lot of amateurs and first-timers.
Yeah.
And these are the people that walk in the bike lanes instead of the pedestrian lanes.
Or is it split?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a lot of parts of town, it's split. The bikers have their own, and the pedestrians have their own. And, that makes the bike riders mad. Oh.
Time to repeat my favorite story, my favorite bike story. A guy who I don't even remember his name, but I used to know him. I'm distancing myself from him. He's jogging on Mississippi River Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is my favorite. He's northbound and down. He's running along, and he hears this hectoring behind him. Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Get out of my way! And the jogger said, I'm not in your way. And he said, the bicyclist said, yeah, you are. Get out of my way. And they're approaching the Franklin Bridge. The jogger stops, and the guy gets off his bike. And he said, listen, pal, you're on the bike path. And the jogger says, well, no, I'm not. Well, you want to do something about it? And the jogger, who is very fit, said, are you sure about this? Are you sure you want to continue this kind of it's like Reaver saying, send me your address.
Right.
It's are you sure you want to push this?
He gave him every opportunity to turn around.
He really did. He gave him every opportunity to say, just get back on your bike and take off. There's been no harm here. And the guy kept pressing the issue. So the guy I'm referring to, he picked up the bike. And he threw it as far as he could over the cliff, and it ended up down on the bank of the on the river on the beach. And he said all he could hear was the click of the guy's cleats running down the steps to try to get his bike.
Oh, I love that. And it's not all of them, but boy, are they are a very entitled bunch.
They're so hostile.
And they're angry. Well, how could you be angry? You're out on a beautiful day riding your bike. Chill out, brother.
And this incident occurred pre-coronavirus. This was an empty trail. Now they're packed, and people are going to have to learn to get along.
Was the bike rider? Did he have the whole Lance Armstrong outfit on with the helmet and the whole 9 yards?
He had the clicky shoes on.
Yeah.
He had the jersey that looked like a bottle of olives, and the whole thing. What? Well, a lot of those jerseys looked like the label on a bottle of olives from Italy. You know damn well at home he's got 2 Chevy Suburbans and his penny loafers. You kidding me?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, we had the meeting, and I guess the gist of it was that we're all looking out for each other. I don't know what we're looking for.
You mentioned that, and over the weekend, I saw something on Facebook, and I know your thoughts and opinions on Facebook, but I just found it comical where a neighbor posted a photo. It was somebody that I don't know how I'm friends with because I didn't recognize the name. Was
it a guy pointing and he had a donut in his hand?
No, it wasn't that one.
Oh.
No. There's a new one, by the way, I got to show you guys later.
Right.
It's a female holding a...
It's not as funny.
It's not as funny, but anyway. So this guy posted a photo of his neighbor's house in what looked to be a very well-to-do neighborhood. And the neighbor had, it looked to be about 8 or 9 cars in the driveway with people in the garage hanging out. This was Saturday or Sunday.
Sure.
Okay.
And shamed the neighbor, and you should have seen the comments.
Oh.
And they were basically going back and forth about this isn't social distancing, and it was mind your own bleeping business.
Yeah.
So it was a public fight about you're not supposed to have 25 people over at your house.
I was on the Nextdoor app for 1 week. I joined it on a Sunday, and then last Friday I finally had to quit, and that's what 100% of the
stuff like
posts
that,
were
yeah.
people going at each other. But I had a question for you, Joe, in your meeting last night. Did any of your neighbors discuss going to their front porch or their front stoop on at 7 o'clock every evening and singing Imagine together as a neighborhood?
No, that will not happen here.
So you won't be singing the commie national anthem from
No.
your front porch?
No, what a dreadful song.
I know,
Oh,
it's just
God.
the worst.
It's just the worst
awful.
thing. Has anybody ever listened to the lyrics of
Oh
the
my
damn
God,
thing?
I'm already like 90% depressed all the time. I can't take that song. It's just awful.
It's just horrible.
I end up crying.
Imagine there's no heaven. I don't want to imagine that.
No, God, no.
I want to imagine there is.
Just give me this one thing.
Yeah. I want to imagine there is. Did you see where Mike Lindell, the My Pillow fellow, was in the Rose Garden with Trump yesterday for Trump's daily briefing?
Oh boy, he's getting beat up on Twitter.
Well, he had the nerve to say we should be praying more, and he just got lit up.
Yeah.
He just got lit up.
I don't get it. Why is he getting so much hatred from people?
He's a friend of Trump.
Is that the only reason?
That's all it takes.
Here's a guy that took his own company and completely changed its course so they could make masks for the medical industry. Yeah. What is wrong with people?
Well, because he had the audacity to use the name of God.
Yeah.
And he was standing next to the president and mentioned him as a friend.
You know,
that's where we're at, isn't it?
The president, he said, if you had this ready, I wouldn't even mind hearing it again. You know, the president is an expert on Easter.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
You know,
He's our go-to guy.
My favorite line on that is it happened 250 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
He said, not a lot of people know that.
And I love the way he props people up and then quickly cuts them off at the knees. You know what I mean? He sets you up, and he's a good guy, but maybe he's not so good.
Well, he was an okay God, but he did some good things. He did some nice things.
Maybe he's not so good things too.
Yeah.
You know what I need to do is I need to find a quicker way to obtain this video so that way I can have it at the ready at all times.
Well, you would think, that would.
That would, here we go.
250 years ago, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, whose full name, he was Jewish, so his full name might have been like Christowitz, but God rose him from the dead on a holiday we now call Easter. Not a lot of people know that, but it's called Easter. It's when Jesus and the 2 Corinthians met the Easter bunny and came back from the dead.
See?
So, it's a beautiful story. Very important for the Christians like me. And I have decided, I'm announcing today, we are going to bring back the economy on Easter Sunday. Because God, who, to be honest, is, he's a good God. He's done some strong things. Let's be honest, his record is not so great, though. He brought one guy back.
One guy.
On Easter Sunday. And it was his son, so it was kind of biased. But we're going to bring back the entire economy on Easter Sunday. And at that point, I think basically I'm better than God. So when we do it, we're going to do it toughly. We're going to do it with great compassion.
Toughly.
Great strength. Tremendous strength and also toughness.
Yeah.
Easter Sunday, we're going to put it on pay-per-view. God versus Trump. Who brings back more people on Easter Sunday?
That is pretty good.
Oh, but you cut out the Friday part. Great Friday for Trump.
Oh, shoot. That's right. He's
Probably going to fire
Fauci and make it a
Bad
great
day
Friday.
for him. That'd be a good Friday for Trump.
It was fun playing that for Royce because you get the natural Royce laugh.
Belly
where
laugh.
he's
Oh, God. That guy is going to become a celebrity like none other.
Well, it's funny because his most recent tweets are almost saying that very thing. Well, I guess before I got Twitter fame, yet so and so and so, and so he would repost some of his old stuff.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
J.L. Cauvin, Cauvin. Say, unfortunately, just a minute. Perfect health.
Perfect health.
COVID cough there. Yikes.
Unfortunately, EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake is about 90% shut down, but they're about to close. They are closed to normal foot traffic, but they're able to meet people by appointment.
There you go.
And to sell them vehicles like electric bikes, scooters, and motorcycles. If they don't want to go out, you can still go online, ecofunmotorsports.com. Give us a call. You can do everything over the phone. You can finish the paperwork at your home when we deliver the product. We're also going to continue to offer GLers preseason sale prices while in lockdown and free delivery in the Twin Cities area. We're extremely proud to be a GL company and have the best GL customers. Bentelli e-bikes are the ideal way to social distance and get some fresh air. Mm-hmm. That is a good way to do it, isn't it? Just a minute. I might have had an email here from someone saying they just bought one.
And I'll mention, too, they do have a wonderful Instagram and Twitter account where they put a lot of cool photos of people buying their bikes.
I wanted to mention their Twitter account because they tweeted Joe and I when we were making fun of Rookie for the battery, and I tweeted back to them wondering if they had a Yamaha WR250, and sure enough, they do.
Really?
So, and my kid is looking for one, so my kid's now in negotiations to buy this bike from EcoFun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Bentelli e-bikes are a great way to social distance and get exercise. Call today, 612-321-8867. 612-321-8867 to get yours or to set up an appointment to get one. I'm telling you, you're going to love this. When the dust settles, I'm going to have to get another one because a kid I used to have stole mine, and I now need a new one. Be safe. You can go online. They'll take care of everything for you. They'll make it as simple as possible. They will deliver the bike to you. You can complete the paperwork right there in your home while whoever delivers it, might be Tim or one of his guys, you make them stand out on the street. Don't let them get any near. Just let them get the bike out of the truck and put it on the kickstand right there. And then you go do the paperwork, and then you shove it down the sidewalk with a stick. Get a big stick and shove the paperwork back to them, and you stay 25 feet away. It'll work out perfectly.
Almost like one of those grabbers that you use. Use that thing and just.
Or if you have a grabber, you could put it in the grabber.
There you go.
And extend it, and with your arm in the grabber, you got a good 6-7 feet. So bing, bang, boom. Let them take the paperwork from you. You wheel the bike into the garage, admire it for a while, then get on it and just tear the hell out of there. It's just fantastic.
Beautiful.
They're fantastic. EcoFun Motorsports. EcoFunMotorsports.com on Highway 61 in downtown Forest Lake.
University of Garage Logic, 98. College of Self-Esteem, zip, nada, nothing. Here's Joe Souchere.
Well, not quite. Before we get to Suchi Boy, I want to tell you about ProfessionalTurf.com, and clicking on ProfessionalTurf.com, that's going to give you a beautiful lawn all season long. I'm a hardcore do-it-yourselfer, or as some of you refer to me as, a hardcore know-it-all. But the one thing I do know is the day I threw that spreader away and handed the lawn care duties over to the ProfessionalTurf.com crew, that was the best thing I ever did for my lawn. And I've had the best lawn on the block ever since. That was, so many years ago. I also, a few years ago, I had their landscape division come out and update the layout in the backyard. It forced the equity and gave the place amazing curb appeal. Lawn care, sprinkler system service, and landscaping. They're the best guys in town. Click on ProfessionalTurf.com. Suchi Boy.
Yes, sir. I have... What? Hey,
Sneeze coming?
No, I had the microphone turned away from me. Listener Bob Strauss writes, I'd type hail you, but that seems a bit inappropriate coming from a family member.
Wait.
I know, Bob.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Good. Hold on.
He's married to one of my sisters. I don't know which one. There's so many of them. He was listening to Monday Night Sports Talk when Pat and I yesterday really went down memory lane with our various technical issues.
Yeah.
Perfect health.
Yep.
And he said he's been in the tech industry for years. His tech colleagues would call many of our issues a picnic problem.
Explain. What's that mean?
Picnic problem.
Picnic problem.
Problem in chair, not in computer.
Oh, God, that's brilliant.
That's perfect for me and Pat, man. Those are picnic problems.
Problem in chair, not in computer.
I can't tell.
That's brilliant.
So Bob would appreciate, along with the other GLers, how many times you've had to call the help desk and have them come down here and basically click one key to make your computer all better again.
That's right.
At some points, too, it kind of becomes a game as to which one gets to come down here first.
Yes.
They almost do the paper, rock, scissors. No, you got to do it last time. I get to do it this time.
No, they fight to do it because it's
Right.
an easy fix.
That's what I'm saying. They
know it's not going to be anything complicated.
They'll just stroll on down here and hit one button and boom, it's done.
Soucheray again, that moron.
I actually had to go up there last week, and I said, I've got a problem with Such, and they said, yeah, who doesn't?
Right. Get in line, pal.
Yeah,
Get in line.
You don't have a problem with me, Kenny. Let's not leave the listeners hanging there. You had a problem with trying to get me my email, which you grew tired of doing, and so you've had it arranged that now it just automatically gets fed to me. I think you did a wise move there.
So, GLers, you can go back to bashing me in emails to Joe because I'm no longer reading them.
Kenny's flying blind.
Oh, God, it just makes me feel so much better. Oh.
Do you have a ray of hope, please?
I can in just a matter of seconds.
Should be just a matter of seconds. I think this is a ray of hope. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Okay, I got her, brah.
Well, play it.
Oh, I thought we'd do it at the end.
Well, we're doing it at the beginning.
Okay.
Mix things up a little.
Today's Ray of Hope.
It's in the Star Tribune today. The Mayo Clinic and the U of M have developed a reliable test for finding antibodies in the blood serum of those who have had COVID-19. This would allow these individuals to move freely about, volunteer where they're needed. They stated that it's possible many people had COVID-19, but because symptoms were minor, never sought medical treatment. They also advised that they are not sure if someone could contract COVID-19 or they would be able to spread it again. We can trust what China says. We can't trust what China says. We will need more evidence at home. This is the beginning of the breakthrough. This is the beginning of people going back to work.
Yes.
This is the beginning of resuming airline travel. I imagine you'll queue up at a line at the airport. They'll give you a test. Bing, bang, boom. You pass. You're on the plane. And you're on the plane knowing that everyone else on the plane doesn't have it.
Let's take a vote.
Yeah. How soon can we get this out? That was my question.
Well, they're working feverishly.
Let's go with it.
They're working feverishly.
Remind me again, when was the date of the patient zero case? You referred to it at the latter part of last week.
It was in about the third week of December
Okay.
of 2019.
All right.
And how much do you think of...
Or maybe even earlier, Katie, maybe the second week in December.
And I forget at what length we have discussed this on the show, but because of the Chinese government's lack of acceptance with this, because they did try to cover this up for the first couple of weeks, how much of that then led to the outbreak getting even worse right away?
Well,
all of it.
Exponentially worse. Yeah.
Because
I'm not letting China off the hook.
Because had they just said, oh, crap, we've got an issue on our hands and dealt with it much sooner, don't you think we'd all would have been much better off?
Yes.
These world leaders should have these world leaders should have the hotline telephone like they do for the nukes.
Yeah.
They should have a pandemic hotline telephone. And if China, if they weren't godless communists, they would have pressed that button on day one and said to Trump and everybody else around the world, look out, we've just discovered a horrible disease coming your way, get ready. That didn't happen
Yeah.
because they're godless commies.
And I know I'm going to get hate mail for saying this, but Trump was one of the people that said we had it under control in early to mid-February.
I understand that. He's certainly come down off that podium.
Yeah, and rightfully so. So I give him credit for doing that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just saying they almost did, though, get the hotline, warning, and it was almost dismissed right away.
Politicians across the globe should be paying close attention to the Faucis of the world, the Osterholms of the world, people like that. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I said yesterday, no more talk from me about medicines, for example. I will only repeat what I find necessary from Fauci or Osterholm. End of story.
But it's got to be legit because look what it did to the stock market. I mean, we're all broke again.
Oh, boy. Are we ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's she doing right now? I'll tell you what it's doing right now. It is down 178 points.
So you're saying I shouldn't have went to production and had them put together, here's Joe's Advil moment of the day?
No, I don't think you should.
No, we're not going to do that?
Did you realize, you rural fruitcake, that you just said, I shouldn't have went?
It sounded perfect to me, Chris.
You shouldn't have gone. Even coming from a sod hut family, I know it shouldn't be. It should have gone.
What did I say?
You said you shouldn't have went to production. You said.
Oh, darn it, I did.
You've got to be.
go.
You've
You
got
gotta
to
take
be
and go.
more proud of your heritage. There's nothing wrong with owning it, Joe.
That's
what
right.
we
I love
call
it.
Own it.
No, I love it. I'm starting to get emails from cousins too. They think the town was Herman. Does that ring a bell?
Boy, that's way out west.
Yep.
Where is Herman? I'm drawing a
Oh,
blank.
55, isn't it? Or 12?
That reminds me. There was
Hold
a
on,
great
let me look it
email
up.
that I forgot to send to you, Joe. Oh, here it is. It's from Jim. This just came in after we started recording today. Hey, Such, the 1880 census data should fill you in on the blanks regarding your grandmother. Is that attainable?
I was just going to say, where in the hell am I supposed to get the 1880 census?
Well, isn't that all available?
I don't know.
Well, you're supposed to know that stuff. That ain't
You
our
know-
job. We're
you
the
know,
dumb ones.
Hey, the sod hut might be enough. I don't really need to know what town it was. I'll just make up a town.
Oh, see, no, don't you quit on us. You're
It's
the
garage-
curious one.
Yeah, I am. I'll. It would be fun to drive to that town.
Herman is dangerously close to would that be South Dakota? The South Dakota border.
Whoa,
What
way
the hell
over
were
there.
they? What the hell
It's
were they doing out there?
East of Wheaton on Highway 9 and northeast of Morris.
I do know that.
Here we go.
I think it was.
Here we go.
You wonder about my affection for the United States Postal Service. I think my great grandfather. Let's see. My grandfather would have been my dad's dad, right?
Your grandfather would have been your dad. Yes.
Okay, so I never knew him. So my you check that one off. So my great grandfather would have been my dad's grandfather.
Correct.
Okay, he was a postmaster in somewhere in the Fulda area.
Oh.
He was a postmaster,
Oh.
that doesn't explain Grandma, though, because she was a different family. But anyway, he was a postmaster in a town that no longer exists.
Do you remember the name of it?
I got it somewhere. But he was so that too comes to me naturally, my affection for playing office and stamps and,
Sure.
posting mail at the mailbox. That's all very genetic.
So you think that's where it comes from?
It's all
natural.
genetic.
You
Absolutely.
can't fight it. It's natural.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. It's right. It's in your marrow. It's in your marrow.
And Herman, in fact, is right in the prairie there. So
Yeah.
That's solid prairie in that area.
All right, so wait a minute. Here I'm making some notes for today's show. So I should have said gone to production, and yes, your dad's dad is your grandfather.
Right. I never knew any of them guys.
Right.
Sod Hut Hoot Suit.
Here we go.
Do you recall? Had to be. I don't think it was yesterday. It must have been Friday. The guy's best beer was that he was delivering ice to a saloon on Rice Street.
Yes.
No. Sloan.
Sloon. Yes. He was delivering ice to a sloon on Rice Street, and a fellow at the bar insisted on buying that young delivery man a beer. It turned out it was his first one, and then he came back for his next ice delivery days later, weeks later, whatever, and the bartender said, do you know who that was that bought you that beer? And he said, no. He said, that was John Dillinger. And I bring that up again because Tom Lyman, who's writing to us from Mumbai, India, feels this peculiar need, which I enjoy. He feels this peculiar need to send me on this date in Minnesota history every day. Sometimes I find something of significance. Mostly I don't. But I'm going to honor a fellow taking the time to email me from Mumbai, India, for God's sake. Okay. On this day in 1934, and this will corroborate something else I told you fellas. On this day in 1934, March 31st, a shootout between outlaw John Dillinger and the Federal Bureau of Investigation occurs at the Lincoln Court Apartments in St. Paul on Lexington Avenue near Grand. Right. Dillinger escaped, but a few months later was shot to death by FBI agents in Chicago. And I told you, I had a buddy growing up who lived on Lincoln and Lexington. And those Lexington Court Apartments are across the street on Lexington.
They're still there, too.
They're still there. They're still there. Yeah. That was where the shootout was.
Wow, cool.
I visited that area for that very reason.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I nerded out one day and had to do it. There's a writer from St. Paul who wrote the book is called Dillinger. I think it's called Dillinger Lived Here. And it's a local guy that wrote it. I'm going to have to look his name up.
Paul Maccabee?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's ringing a bell. It's ringing a bell. So I have another positive note based on COVID-19. Not only is Mayo and the U of M gearing up, but violent crime is down. Echoing the mayor of Houston, apparently, criminals are
they're pausing.
They're taking a pause because you know what? Because so many stores are closed, they're not getting robbed. And because so many people are at home, safeguarding their homes, the homes aren't being burgled.
Well, you know what else a big part of it is, too? All of the bars and restaurants are closed. There's no 2 a.m. rush on the weekends anymore.
That's right. This is news out of Philadelphia. Police have not lessened their patrols, but they haven't been overwhelmed with violent crime and robberies. Fewer people on the streets makes it easier for officers to spot someone who might be up to no good. Gloucester Township is seeing, unfortunately, increase in domestic disputes. That's a shame. I wish people would not do that. It's tempting to become angry with your loved one, but you got to figure out how to not take the bait. That's my key. Just don't take the bait.
Yeah, it's not my flaws aren't her fault.
No. And like Pat, when we sit down to play Who Has Flaws, I'm 0-68. Yeah. I've never won the game. No. Never won.
Undefeated.
I'm undefeated? I'm defeated.
You're defeated. Yeah.
I'm defeated.
I'm at the point where I don't even try to win anymore.
No.
You were right, and I was partially wrong. It is, in fact, Maccabee that wrote it, Paul. And the title is John Dillinger Slept Here.
Slept Here, yeah. This was quite a thriving gangster town in the 20s and 30s. The sheriff, I believe, was O'Connor, and he had the O'Connor rule. Verify that name for me, please.
Sheriff O'Connor?
I believe it was O'Connor. And the rule was, Dillinger, if you're in town, I'm not going to mess with you, but you can't act up here.
Right, that was the rule.
That was the rule.
Right.
You, Ma Barker and your boys, you want to hide out in Matamidi? That's fine, but don't cut up in my town.
And they eventually ended up screwing O'Connor over by kidnapping a number of famous St. Paul citizens.
Well, including what, the Ham kidnapping?
The Ham and is it Bremer?
Bremer, yep.
Yeah. And a great novel to read is called Saint Mud.
Yeah, I read that.
The opening line in St. Mud is very memorable. In St. Paul, gangsters can bleep in the streets.
Right.
The euphemism for make love.
There was the one that came out a couple of years ago. Was it Augie's Secrets? Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
I haven't heard of that one.
I haven't heard of that.
It's the Minneapolis mob scene. I just remember I heard an interview with the author. I thought maybe it would ring a bell with you guys a couple of years ago.
Huh.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
By the way, the author of St. Mud is Steve Thayer.
Yeah, Steve Thayer also read a great book called The Weatherman.
Yes. Yeah, that is a good book. Right.
Yep.
But St. Mud was his first effort.
Right.
This one's called Augie's Secrets, The Minneapolis Mob and the King of the Hennepin Strip by Neil Carlin, K-A-R.
Oh, we know Neil Carlin, Joe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait,
the crime scene in Minneapolis was completely different than the crime scene in St. Paul.
Wait a minute. I didn't hear that interview on Garage Logic, did I?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, I heard this great interview, and I was waiting for, yeah, dummy, it was on our show.
Quick true story. It's been over 40 years, so I think it's safe to tell. My wife purchased a ham and told me she had never cooked a ham before, but wanted to give it a go. She put the ham in a Dutch oven and poured a can of 7-Up in with it and added vegetable stock, then did a slow cook of the ham. She cooked it for 4 hours, painstakingly basting it every 20 minutes or so because she wanted the juiciest ham ever. When she said it was done, I went into the kitchen to share her creation. She grabbed the ham with the tongs and put it on a carving plate. It was only then she discovered that the heavy-duty plastic that it came in was still wrapped on the ham that she never noticed during all that basting. Does that make it?
It's got
God,
to.
yes.
It has
Does that
to.
make it with the plastic plants and the lotion, the cheese, the concrete mix? I'll have to add ham.
Boy,
think it
he's
does.
brave for sending that in, by the way.
Oh, 40 years. If she can't let him off the hook after 40 years, they shouldn't be together.
All right, I'm the king of the idiots on this show.
I'll say.
But how do you not notice the plastic still when it's in the oven? And how did it not melt?
You know what?
Tastes good to me, honey.
Yeah.
That's all I
And
got.
he's still going all in.
It's fantastic. You did a
Yeah.
wonderful job.
Yeah. We had a delightful interview with a very daring pilot named Tim Tollefson, who fights forest fires from the air.
Yeah.
Recall when Tim was in?
That was awesome.
A few weeks ago, a month or so.
He writes, please include me as adding to Grunhofer's 700-pound Saturday by loading up on salmon and meatloaf. Also, since I was in the neighborhood, I visited Tim at EcoFun and went home with a new electric assist bike.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Thanks for keeping the show going during our break from normal. It's been great entertainment. Tim Tollefson. P.S. The amount of feedback and contacts from fellow GLers from my in-studio visit has been great fun. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Tim, for becoming a Grunhofer's convert. And Kevin writes, who knew when I had the Gruns turn my venison into sausage, I'd be grilling them for lunch at home on a Monday. It's going to be a great lunch today, and I don't plan to share any either. And he sent me a picture of his sausage on the grill that was prepared for him by the Grunhofer's people. Grunhofer's old-fashioned meats in Hugo, the north end of Hugo, and like all of our other clients, are going out of their way to make your shopping safe and easy. Go to the website, GrunhoferMeatMarket.com. No apostrophe.
Nope.
You know,
Grunhofersmeatmarket.com.
so there is an S.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here.
But there is an S. There is not an apostrophe. Here we go.
What happened to Joe?
Grunhofer's.
Joe left in the middle of an ad.
Meatmarket.com. On it right now. Boy, look at them brats.
Okay, you call in your order in advance. Pick out from the online menu what you need. Or it's not really a menu. It would be the online availability of these delicious meats. Then call 651-426-2800.
That's the city desk.
That's it, 651-426-2800. You can place your order over the phone. You can pay over the phone. I don't know how I would because I don't have the thing.
Oh, they have packs assembled already online, too. I'm looking at them right now.
You get there. It's on Highway 61. Look, you can drive in Minnesota. You can't get it, as Jeremy Clarkson says, you can't get it from driving. So you want to run out to Grunhofer's. You pull into the parking lot. They bring your order out. You've already paid for it. They'll place it in your trunk, or they'll place it outside the door for you to pick up, and you'll be taken care of. It's really, really the way to go. It's fantastic.
We received a tweet 20 hours ago from a very loyal GLer. He's been with us forever, Vic Dorso.
Oh, yeah.
The tweet, the CP threatened to boil my Grundhofer's brats last night. I took over kitchen duties to avoid a domestic incident.
Well, see, he didn't take the bait. He took care of it. You know, let's everybody be calm.
I'm wondering if she did that on purpose just to make sure that Vic would cook.
Right. You know where else we lucked out? Seriously? With the timing. It's tough enough now for people to be essentially homebound. That can fray nerves and get on people's nerves. But at least we're entering the good weather. If this had set in November 1st, we would have been
Yes.
we would have been in maybe a little more trouble. But now you can space yourself from the people around you.
Yeah.
You can go outside and work or
I want
do whatever.
I want you to take that drive today because I want to hear your opinion about the amount of people that are out and if you think it's too many.
You know what? I will do it, Kenny.
Yeah.
I will do it.
It's a tad bit shocking to see all these people out.
One of the 3 winter cars has been decommissioned or commissioned again for spring and is running. So I'll take that, and I'll be able to give you guys a report tomorrow.
You need us to swing by and fire her up real quick?
No, I can get it.
You got her? Okay.
You can
Warm
get
that
them.
baby up for you.
You can get them.
Did you? I don't know if you got this email, by the way, because it's reminding me of your background noise here from Kelly. It says, "Tell Joe to build a sod chair and get rid of that squeaky piece of crap he's got."
No, that's the pontoon boat.
See, I like it. I like the squeak.
That's the pontoon boat stretching its ropes at the dock. Here, listen.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's kind of bobbing in the waves there, stretching at the dock posts.
I'm imagining laying in a chair on the beach trying to fall asleep in that nasty old pile of crap pontoon, screeching and yelling.
Kenny, where is yours?
It's inside. It spent the first winter of its entire life inside my shed.
Did you doll it up a little?
No, not yet.
What's it called again? We need the official name.
The bleep barge?
Is that what it is?
I thought it was the cirrhosis of the river.
I don't know. That was.
What are your plans for it?
I'm going to put a new deck on it, and that's it. Take the rails off, or what I've learned they call, I think, the playpen. That's the rails that go around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take all those off, so it's literally like a floating swim platform that you're in danger of falling
Well,
off.
why would you do that? You know damn well somebody will fall off.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
Oh.
That's the whole point.
Yesterday, I don't know who this gentleman is. His name is Kevin Walling. He's a TV contributor for Fox. I don't know if he's based out of New York, but he posted a really cool photo of the Statue of Liberty with the big U.S. Navy ship, hospital ship that in the background, which was really, really cool.
Yep.
And then other people were posting their boats coming in to save the day. And all I kept thinking was
The barge.
Kenny's pontoon.
Got that 9-horse on there smoking. It's like a Grateful Dead concert. There's so much haze around me.
You know, if I got sick in New York, and God forbid anyone does, it's a terrible situation.
It's not even better news today, by the way.
But I'd beg somebody to put me on that ship. That's where I'd want to get treated, on the ship.
I would too.
Yeah.
And by the way, because Kenny and I have both news channels on in here, and I'm glancing up at Anderson Cooper on CNN.
Yeah.
Where are we on them having a live reporter at the makeshift hospital? Get out of there. We don't need more bodies there that don't need to be there.
Why are you saying the news is worse from New York right now?
Well, they just reported, what are we up to now? We're up to 3,500, over 3,500 dead. And Cuomo was on earlier.
Is that for the country or New York?
For the country, but New York is obviously leading the way. And they were basically saying that they had their worst 24 hours most recently. So, not to end the show on a down note, but I was just bringing it up. Yeah, okay.
I guess one of the Como brothers is now infected, Chris.
Yeah, Chris is.
Father Andrew gave his daily sermon today, and he was talking about Chris. I'm looking at the picture now of the naval hospital ship arriving. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wonder if those ships are built specifically to be a medical ship, or are they converted? It looks unlike most ships. I wonder if we don't build them to specifically be hospital ships. I think we do.
Well,
thank you for that silence.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know how quickly they would have been able to convert it, so I guess I would agree with you.
I quickly zoned out wondering where it was built. If it was built on the... no, it wouldn't be built in the Great Lakes. I guess it would probably displace too much water, wouldn't it?
Our hospital...
This is awesome.
Ships.
Do Lieutenant Dan have legs in real life?
Where converted from other ships.
Hospital ship
built. Georgia. You get her?
Hospital ships have played pivotal roles in naval operations since the early days of the Republic. All other ships, including the Mercy and the Comfort, the two that are in play right now, were converted from other uses, whether as supertankers, troop transports, or passenger liners. So there's your answer. Learn more here by accident than anywhere else by design. How many hospital ships does the U.S. have? The U.S. only two, the Mercy and the Comfort. There's one on the
You'll
West
learn more
Coast.
here by accident than elsewhere by design.
There's
Here's
one now.
Joe Souchere.
Thank you. There's one in the Los Angeles Harbor, and there's one in New York. The Comfort is in New York. The Mercy is in L.A.
It was built. I entered where was the hospital ship built, but I didn't put a name on it. It says it was built in the National Steel Shipbuilding Company in San Diego. The Navy purchased it in '87.
A hospital ship is a ship designated for primary function as a floating medical treatment facility. The Second Geneva Convention prohibits military attacks on hospital ships, although belligerent forces do have rights of inspection and may take injured enemy patients as prisoners of war. Wow. Wow.
Sod hut or soddy was an often used alternative to the log cabin during the frontier settlement of the Great Plains. Primary, no, I thought you were mentioned here, but you're not. I'm sorry.
Oh, shoot. Well, they know that I'm descended from the great stock of Herman, Minnesota is what it's sounding like. The great stock of Herman, Minnesota. We got a lot of nice things. We do a lot of nice things out there.
So we've assigned ourselves homework for tonight. You've already watched it. Reavers and I have it on DVR. We're going to watch the First Avenue thing tonight.
I can't wait.
Closer to the Stars, which I don't know if you know this, Joe, and I'm going to tell you this because I'm filling in for FYI today. Closer to the Stars, a wonderful, wonderful Soul Asylum song that you may have never heard.
Yeah. I watched the documentary last night.
Right.
You'll find it interesting. I found it to be top-heavy on the trials and tribulations of the various management figures over the years. They always seem to be running just ahead of the bill collector.
Right.
And
well, that is part of their legacy, though, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted more music. I mean, the Replacements, for example, got 20 seconds on screen.
One of the managers, Steve McClellan, was a boy. He's a noteworthy, interesting fella. Quite the character.
How many shows do you think you've seen there if you had to ballpark it, Kenny?
I have no idea.
Hundreds,
I
thousands?
think the question is, how many shows do I remember? That's probably more.
I saw the very first one, Joe Cocker and Mad Dogs and Englishmen. It was called The Depot. That was in April of 1970.
How recent have you been there, or has it been a while?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
It's been a long, long time.
I was there the weekend of Prince's death. I was there the Saturday night when they stayed open till 6 a.m. That was freaking incredible. That was
well,
so
it went through a period where people quite literally thought Prince owned the place.
Yeah.
Because he could play there anytime he wanted. He would make a call at noon, and then they would set it up for him.
Well, he would never start before 1 a.m.
Well, yeah.
Most times it wasn't announced, too. It was just the hipster crowd that got in.
Yeah.
Right. Well, very good, boys. You have your homework assignment. Mine is to go drive the Parkway system, Kenny, from about St. Paul to Lake Harriet and back.
That's what I'm saying. Check it out.
All right, I'll give you a report.
I might have to do that on my way home now.
Yeah.
Take that route home.
All right.
Hey, wait. No, you got to give us your sign-off.
I got to go.
All right, there he goes, the mayor of Garage Logic.
I got to go.
Go to garagelogic.com where you can download past episodes. And please don't forget to rate and review the show. We love hearing your feedback. Garagelogic.com and Pod.
I didn't leave.
Yeah, Pod, man. Download that, too, where you can get all of your Minnesota podcasts. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Yeah.